Silence. The kind that crushes lungs. 20 noble women in silk gowns hold their breath. The council members lean forward in their carved oak chairs. Every wolf in the grand hall watches the trembling servant girl in the center of the black marble floor. She holds a silver chalice. One sip proves she's worthy. One sip could stop her heart in 4 minutes. Isaura Whitewood lifts the cup toward her lips. Her hands shake. The liquid inside catches the candlelight. Amber. Beautiful. Deadly. She pauses, brings the rim just below her nose. Inhales, her hands go perfectly still. The trembling stops. Just stops. She lowers the cup. Slowly, so slowly the room seems to hold its breath with her. Then she looks up, directly at Councilor Ravens, the man who handed her the chalice. The man with silver hair and cold eyes who sits at the head of the council table like a king on a borrowed throne. And she speaks, her voice is clear. Winter air across frozen ground. Alpine wolfsbane. Balthazar's face doesn't change, but something flickers behind his eyes. Late harvest, after the first frost. Isaura's voice grows steadier with each word. Root oil, not petals. Someone in the crowd gasps. A ceremonial dose requires 3 crushed petals per gallon of wine. She sets the chalice down on the silver tray. The soft clink echoes like a bell. This contains distilled root oil, enough to stop an alpha's heart in 4 minutes. The room erupts. Noble women shriek. Guards step forward. Council members slam their fists on the table. But Isaura stands perfectly still in the center of the chaos, looking at the man who just tried to kill her, and thinking, how did I get here? The grand hall of the Obsidian Keep smells like expensive desperation. Floral perfume, too much of it. The kind that wealthy daughters wear when they're trying to mask the scent of fear. Isaura knows that smell. She's been scrubbing floors in this castle for 7 years. She knows every smell. Beeswax candles, roasted venison, the sharp metallic tang of political ambition. She knows how to be invisible. Right now, invisible is the only thing keeping her alive. She presses her spine against the marble pillar at the very edge of the hall. Her fingers clutch an empty silver tray. The same tray she's been carrying for hours, collecting crystal champagne flutes from the perimeter tables. Nobody notices her. That's the point. Her coarse wool dress is the color of ash. Her dark hair is pinned so tight it pulls at her scalp. There's a smudge of hearth soot on her left cheekbone. She put it there deliberately this morning, because clean servants get noticed, and noticed servants get punished. Choose any woman. Councilor Ravens' voice cuts through the suffocating quiet. It's raspy, like wind through dead leaves. He stands before the elevated throne, before Alpha King Caspian Ashford, before the most powerful man in the Northern Territories. Any woman of noble blood. The pack needs a Luna. Our fractured borders require alliances. Balthazar spreads his hands. Reasonable? Concerned? Pick one, and let us be done with this. Isaura watches from the shadows. Can't help it. She's supposed to keep her eyes on the floor. That's the first rule Mistress Odessa taught her 7 years ago when she stumbled into the kitchen, half dead from starvation. Keep your eyes down, your mouth shut, your existence small. But right now, she can't stop staring at the scene unfolding in the center of the hall. The 20 daughters of the most powerful alphas stand in a glittering line. They're beautiful, all of them, draped in silk and rare jewels, their necks bared in ritual submission. They terrify Isaura, not because they're cruel, though some of them are, but because they represent everything she lost. Everything she can never be again. The Alpha King sits on his throne like he'd rather be anywhere else. Caspian Ashford, 30 years old, broad shoulders, dark eyes that look like they've seen too much. He wears formal regalia, black leather coat with silver pauldrons, but somehow he makes it look like armor he's trapped in rather than power he's claiming. His fingers drum against the armrest. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rhythm never changes. Beside him sits Phantom, the warhound. Isaura has seen Phantom from a distance before. Everyone has. But up close, the beast is even more terrifying than the stories suggest. An Irish wolfhound mix, nearly 3 feet at the shoulder. Coat the color of storm clouds. A jagged scar runs from his left eye down to his jaw, a souvenir from the Northern rebellions. Phantom isn't a pet, he's a soldier. Right now, the massive hound sits rigid, ears flat against his skull, amber eyes scanning the crowd with visible disgust. He hates this. Isaura can tell, because she hates this too. And somehow, across the vast expanse of the hall, she feels a strange kinship with the battle-scarred animal who looks like he'd rather rip someone's throat out than sit through another minute of political theater. "We are waiting, my king." Balthazar's voice drips with thinly veiled impatience. He steps forward, silver hair gleaming in the candlelight. Lady Callista of the Iron Veil pack brings a dowry of 300 acres and mining rights. The choice is strategic. The choice is clear. Caspian's jaw tightens. The drumming fingers stop. And in that moment of absolute silence, something happens. Phantom stands up. The collective breath of the room vanishes. Several noblewomen step back instinctively, silk gowns rustling, jewels clinking. Because Phantom is not a dog you approach casually. He's killed enemy generals, tracked assassins through blizzards, tolerated absolutely no one except the king. His massive head lowers, nostrils flaring. He's caught a scent. Thump, thump, thump. The sound of his heavy paws echoes across the polished marble floor as he descends the 3 steps from the dais. Caspian doesn't call him back. The king merely watches, his gaze narrowing with sudden, intense focus. Phantom walks past the line of noble daughters, doesn't even glance at Lady Callista in her emerald silk gown, doesn't pause at Lady Rosalind with her crown of diamonds. He walks with the slow, deliberate, predatory gait of a hunter who knows exactly where his prey is hiding, straight toward the shadows at the edge of the room. No, Isaura's heart slams against her ribs. No, 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 no. She squeezes her eyes shut, presses harder against the marble pillar, as if she could melt into the stone itself. Please, please just walk past. She prays to whatever goddess might be listening. Though she stopped believing in goddesses 7 years ago when they let her entire family burn. The heavy, warm breath washes over her hands. Isaura freezes. The empty silver tray rattles against her trembling thighs. She slowly, so slowly, opens her eyes and looks down. Phantom, the terrifying beast who has ripped apart enemy soldiers with his bare teeth, is sitting directly in front of her. He looks up, amber eyes, intelligent, knowing, and then, with a soft whine that sounds like a gunshot in the silent hall, the massive hound rests his scarred chin directly onto her ash-stained hands. Someone drops a glass. It shatters. The sound rings out like a death knell. Isaura's breath hitches. She stares at the hound, then slowly, agonizingly, lifts her gaze past the beast, across the vast expanse of black marble, past the frozen noblewomen, past the shocked council members, straight to the throne. Alpha King Caspian Ashford is looking directly at her, and for the first time all evening, the king does not look bored. "Get that beast away from the servant." Balthazar's voice cracks like a whip. His face has turned a mottled purple, the carefully constructed composure shattered. "Guards," he gestures sharply, "remove the hound. Throw that girl in the dungeons for disrupting the ceremony." 2 heavily armored guards step forward, hands on sword hilts. "Take one more step." Caspian's voice is quiet, but it carries a lethal, vibrating undertone that makes every wolf in the room instinctively bare their neck. "And you will leave this hall without your heads." The guards freeze, boots nailed to the floor. Caspian stands, slowly, like a snake uncoiling before a strike. He's tall, broader than Isaura realized from a distance. He moves with fluid grace that shouldn't be possible for someone his size. He doesn't look at Balthazar, doesn't look at the outraged council members or the humiliated noble daughters. He only looks at the girl pinned against the pillar by his hound's massive head. Isaura tries to pull her hands back, to drop the tray, to run, but Phantom whines sharply, presses his chin harder against her wrists, pinning her in place. The hound is deliberately keeping her there. Caspian. Balthazar steps into the king's path, desperation creeping into his voice. This is a mockery. The hound is confused. The girl reeks of kitchen grease. She's distracting him. Phantom is never confused. Caspian's voice drops even lower, softer, which somehow makes it more terrifying. He tracked a rogue assassin through a 3-day blizzard using only the scent from a dropped glove. He finally turns those dark eyes on the counselor. He is not distracted by roasted duck. Caspian steps around the sputtering elder, begins the long walk across the floor. The crowd parts for him, like water around stone. Isaura watches him approach. Every survival instinct she's honed over 7 years screams at her to drop to her knees, bare her neck, beg forgiveness for existing in his line of sight. But her knees won't bend. Her hands are trapped beneath Phantom's jaw, still trembling, but her chin remains level. She stares at the intricate silver embroidery on his dark leather coat. Can't quite bring herself to meet his eyes. He smells like pine, cold air, something electric that makes her skin prickle. Caspian stops 2 feet away, looks down at Phantom. The hound's tail sweeps across the marble floor once, slow, deliberate. Then Phantom looks from Isaura to the king and back again, like he's introducing them. He's never done that. Caspian's voice is pitched so low only Isaura can hear it. There's wonder in it, and confusion, and something that might be amusement. Isaura swallows hard. Her throat feels lined with sand. I don't have food on me, sire, I swear. Her voice comes out rusty, like an old door hinge. I was only collecting glasses. It's the first time she's spoken above a whisper in months, maybe years. Caspian tilts his head, studying her face. She sees him taking in the coarse wool, the frayed collar, the ash on her cheek, but his gaze lingers on her eyes. They're gray, the color of sky before heavy snow. She knows because her mother used to tell her. Before, when there was a before. What is your name? 3 words, not a command, a question. Isaura's breath catches. Isaura. She doesn't give her last name. Can't. That name died 7 years ago in flames and poison. My king, she adds it quickly, remembering protocol. Silence falls, heavy, absolute, and Isaura realizes what she's just said. Sora, the title they're trying to force on him. Luna, given as a name to the lowest servant in his keep. The irony tastes like ash on her tongue. Sire, Balthazar's voice shakes now, with rage barely contained. The council demands a choice. The packs are waiting. We cannot. We will not allow. The council told me to choose any woman. Caspian doesn't break eye contact with Isaura, but his voice carries across the hall. Clear, final. Those were your exact words. Councilor Ravens, any woman. He reaches out. Isaura flinches, bracing for a blow instead. His large hand wraps gently around her wrist, calloused, warm, careful. He lifts her hand away from Phantom's jaw. The hound immediately stands, leans his heavy body against her leg, a solid wall between her and everyone else in the hall. The ceremony is over. Caspian's voice echoes off the vaulted ceiling. He looks down at Isaura, those dark eyes holding a question she doesn't understand. Come with me. They don't go to the kitchens. They bypass the servants' quarters entirely. Caspian leads her through a set of heavy oak doors that Isaura has spent 7 years scrubbing the hinges of. But never, not once. Step through. The royal wing. The air here smells different. Beeswax, expensive wood. The faint scent of lavender sachets tucked into linen drawers. The stone floors are covered in plush crimson carpets that swallow the sound of footsteps. Isaura's mind is blank, completely, utterly blank. The shock has anesthetized her terror, left only a hollow ringing in her ears. Phantom walks close to her, his shoulder occasionally bumping her thigh, keeping her moving forward when her legs threaten to stop working. Caspian doesn't speak, not until he pushes open a set of double doors leading into a massive bedchamber. He gestures for her to enter. Isaura steps inside on numb legs. The room is larger than the entire servants' dormitory. A 4-poster bed dominates the center, draped in dark furs and silk sheets. A fire crackles in the hearth, warm, inviting. She wants to run. Caspian steps in behind her, closes the doors. The heavy click of the lock sounds like a prison cell slamming shut. Isaura immediately retreats, backing up until her shoulders hit the cold stone of the fireplace mantel. She clutches the empty silver tray to her chest. Shield, weapon, something. Please. The word breaks out of her. The numbness fracturing, letting panic flood back in. I don't know what you want from me. Her voice cracks. I have nothing. I am nothing. Caspian walks to a heavy oak side table, pours amber liquid from a crystal decanter into 2 glasses, offers one to her. She doesn't move. He sets it down on the mantel beside her, within reach, but not forcing, takes a slow sip from his own glass, watching her over the rim. I don't want anything from you. Isaura. His voice has changed. The commanding alpha resonance from the hall is gone, replaced by something quieter, more human, tired. You can put the tray down. She doesn't. Her knuckles are white against the silver. If you don't want anything. Her words come faster now, defensive, desperate. Then why am I here? They'll kill me. Councilor Ravens will have me gutted the moment you leave. Ravens cannot touch you in this wing. Caspian steps closer to the fire. The warm light catches the lines around his eyes. Makes him look older than 30. Exhausted. And you're here because if I had chosen one of those daughters tonight, I would have handed half my army to a rival pack. He pauses, takes another drink. The council wants a puppet queen they can control, to keep me on a leash. Isaura stares at him, her chest heaving. So you used me to spite them. The words come out flat, accusing. Servants don't speak to kings like this. They apologize. They grovel. But Isaura is so far past the rules of servant behavior that she's lost the map entirely. Caspian pauses, lowers his glass. He looks, genuinely surprised. Yes, he admits it. No shame, no apology. I did. The honesty is somehow worse than a lie would be. But he sets his glass down on the mantel, near hers. I also trust my hound. He looks at Phantom, who has curled up on a massive fur rug near Isaura's feet. The beast's eyes are half closed, content, like this is exactly where he wants to be. Phantom doesn't just find threats. Caspian's voice softens. He finds survivors, people who've learned to endure. He takes a careful step closer. Isaura tenses, but he stops, giving her space. He walked past 20 women drenched in expensive perfume, to find a girl hiding in ash. Caspian's gaze searches her face. Why? Isaura clamps her mouth shut, looks away, into the flickering flames. She can't tell him. Not yet. You're not trembling anymore. Caspian's observation is quiet. Isaura looks down at her hands. He's right. The violent shaking has stopped. When did that happen? You were terrified in the hall. He continues, voice careful, like he's mapping dangerous terrain. But you weren't terrified of me. You didn't flinch when I approached. He pauses. You flinched when Ravens yelled. Isaura's grip on the tray tightens. You were terrified of being seen. Understanding dawns in his voice. Not of me, of visibility itself. She says nothing. I am a servant. The words taste like surrender. Being seen means being punished. Don't lie to me. Caspian's voice is gentle, but there's steel underneath. He reaches out, slowly, telegraphing the movement, takes the silver tray from her rigid fingers, sets it aside on a table. You have the posture of someone who's been beaten. His voice drops even lower. But the eyes of someone who fought back. He's close enough now that she can feel the heat radiating from him. Where did you get the scar on your collarbone? Isaura's hand flies to her throat. The high collar of her wool dress mostly hides it, but there's a thin white line that peeks out just above the fabric. Her eyes flash with sudden defensive fire. I fell. The lie is smooth, practiced. She's told it 100 times to Mistress Odessa, to the other servants who sometimes notice. Caspian stares at her, and the corner of his mouth twitches. Not quite a smile, more like grim recognition. Terrible lie. He steps back, breaking the intensity of proximity. You're going to sleep here tonight. He gestures to the massive bed. In the bed. I'll take the couch in the study next door. He walks toward the heavy adjoining doors, hand on the brass handle, pauses, looks back at her over his shoulder. Tomorrow the council will demand an audience. They'll try to tear you apart with words. Try to prove you're unfit, weak, unworthy. His eyes hold hers. Prove my hound right. Isaura. A beat. Survive them. Then he's gone. The study door closes with a soft click, leaving Isaura alone, in the most opulent room she's ever seen, with a warhound curled at her feet and absolutely no idea what happens next. She doesn't sleep. Of course she doesn't. Isaura spends the entire night sitting rigidly in the center of the massive silk-draped bed, knees pulled to her chest, arms wrapped tight around her shins. The fire burns down to glowing embers, casting long shadows across the room. Phantom never leaves. He's moved from the rug to the foot of the bed at some point, a heavy breathing barricade between her and the door. His ears twitch at every distant sound. Footsteps in the corridor. A door closing somewhere far away. The creak of old wood settling. Each time, his amber eyes open, scan the darkness, then close again when he determines there's no threat. Isaura watches him. This massive creature who chose her. How? The question circles through her exhausted mind. She doesn't understand it yet, but there's something about his presence. Solid, protective, familiar in a way she can't explain. Isaura reaches out tentatively, rests her hand on his massive head. His fur is warm under her fingers, thick, soft. Phantom's breathing deepens. He shifts slightly, pressing into her touch, and for just a moment, in the darkness, Isaura allows herself to feel safe. Dawn comes, pale, cold, creeping through the heavy velvet curtains. Isaura hasn't moved from the bed. Her eyes are dry. She's past crying. A sharp knock shatters the silence. She flinches. Before she can move, the double doors open. A procession enters. 4 senior maids carrying a brass bathtub, buckets of steaming water, garments draped over their arms. Leading them is a woman Isaura knows too well, Mistress Odessa, head housekeeper. 65 years old, steel gray hair pulled into a severe bun, hands calloused from decades of managing a household of hundreds. Odessa's face is carved from stone, but her eyes go wide when she sees Isaura sitting on the king's bed. Every servant in the room freezes. The silence is crushing. Phantom stands, moves to Isaura's side, a low rumble building in his chest. Put it down. Isaura's voice cuts through the tension. It comes out different than she intended. Not meek, not apologetic, flat, cold. A voice she hasn't used since she was 16 and gave orders to stable hands and kitchen staff in her father's keep. The maids scramble, setting the tub down, pouring water with shaking hands. They don't look at her. Can't. A servant on the king's bed is an impossibility their minds can't process. Odessa remains standing, staring at a spot on the wall just above Isaura's head. The king requests you join him in the corridor in 1 hour. Her voice is tight, controlled. She gestures to a gown one of the younger maids holds. Peach silk, dripping with lace and pearls. The kind of dress that screams delicate, harmless, decorative. A cage made of thread. Isaura looks at it, then at Odessa. No. The word drops like a stone. Odessa blinks. Her composure cracks. It was selected by Councilor Ravens' wife. It is customary for I said no. Isaura slides off the bed. Her bare feet hit the thick carpet. She walks past the trembling maids, past the steaming bath, straight to Caspian's massive oak wardrobe. Opens it. The interior smells like pine and leather. His clothes, dark, severe, practical, tucked in the very back, almost forgotten, is a woman's riding habit. Charcoal gray wool, leather reinforcements at the elbows, high stiff collar. It must have belonged to his mother, the late queen. A woman who apparently spent more time on horseback than in council chambers. Isaura pulls it out, holds it against herself. It'll fit. Close enough. She turns to face the room. 5 pairs of shocked eyes stare at her. I will wear this. Her voice is steady now. Leave. The maids flee, practically tripping over each other in their haste to get out. But Odessa doesn't move. She closes the door behind the others, stands there, looking at Isaura with an expression that makes her chest tight. Child. Odessa's voice is soft now. The housekeeper mask dropped. What are you doing? Isaura clutches the gray riding habit. Surviving. They'll destroy you. Odessa steps closer. Councilor Ravens will. I know what he'll try to do. The words come out harsh. Isaura meets the older woman's eyes and sees recognition there, understanding. Odessa has always been kind to her. In small ways, an extra portion at dinner, a lighter workload when Isaura looked particularly exhausted, protection from the crueler servants. But they've never spoken of why. Never acknowledged the silent agreement between them. Until now. You knew. It's not a question. Odessa's weathered face softens. I knew your mother. Delivered you into this world with these hands. She holds them up, scarred, strong. Recognized you the day you stumbled into my kitchen half dead. Tears prick at Isaura's eyes. Why didn't you say anything? Because you were safer invisible. Odessa's voice cracks. Because a dead girl can't be hurt twice. She crosses the room, cups Isaura's face in her calloused hands. But you're not invisible anymore. Child, and what comes next will test every part of you. Isaura nods, can't speak past the lump in her throat. Odessa steps back, straightens her spine. Housekeeper mask sliding back into place. Then wear the riding habit. Her voice firms. Wear it like armor. And remember, she pauses at the door. Your mother would be proud. Then she's gone, leaving Isaura alone, with a choice to make. Peach silk that promises she'll play by their rules, or gray wool that declares war. She looks at Phantom. The Hound watches her. Amber eyes steady. Isaura takes a breath and reaches for the gray. 30 minutes later, Isaura stands before the mirror. She barely recognizes herself. The riding habit fits like it was made for her. High collar concealing the scar on her neck. Tailored waist. Practical boots Odessa left outside the door without being asked. Her dark hair is braided tight against her scalp. No loose strands to grab. No jewelry. No perfume. Nothing soft. Nothing fragile. She looks like someone who expects a fight, which, she supposes, she should. The knock on the door is firm, not a servant's knock. Isaura opens it. Caspian stands in the corridor. He wears formal Alpha regalia, dark coat with silver pauldrons that broaden his already imposing shoulders. He looks like a man preparing for war, not a council meeting. His gaze sweeps over her, taking in the gray wool, the severe braids, the high collar. Something flickers across his face, approval, maybe even respect. Raven's wife sent a peach gown. His voice is neutral, but there's a question underneath. Why aren't you wearing it? Isaura meets his eyes, doesn't flinch. Because peach is the color of bruised fruit. A beat. And I have no intention of looking bruised for your counsel. For a moment, Caspian just stares at her, then the corner of his mouth twitches. It's not quite a smile, but it's close. Phantom. He doesn't raise his voice. But the warhound materializes from the shadows of the room, falls perfectly into step on Isaura's left side. Stay close to me. Caspian's voice drops to that commanding register that makes her spine tingle. They will try to trap you with words. Let them speak. His eyes hold hers, intense. The more they talk, the more of their own throats they expose. He doesn't offer her his arm. A king doesn't escort a servant. But as they walk down the long corridor toward the council chamber, Caspian deliberately matches his stride to hers, ensuring she's never more than an inch behind his shoulder. They're going to war, and Isaura realizes, with a strange clarity that cuts through her fear, she's not alone. The council chamber is a circular room built of dark mahogany. 7 high-backed chairs arranged in a semicircle. 7 elders who control the fate of the northern territories. They look like vultures perched on a cliff edge, eyes sharp, hungry, fixed entirely on the door. When Caspian enters, they stand, mandatory respect, but the air is thick with insubordination. When Isaura steps through the threshold behind him, a collective sharp intake of breath hisses through the chamber. Councilor Balthazar Ravens' face contorts, pure, unfiltered, disgust. But underneath it, something else, fear. Caspian walks to the center of the room, takes his seat at the head of the heavy wooden table. There's no chair for Isaura. a deliberate slight meant to force her to stand before them like a prisoner awaiting sentencing. Before anyone can speak, Caspian reaches out, grabs the heavy oak chair to his right, drags it across the floor with a loud, violent screech of wood on stone, positions it directly beside his own. Sit. One word, a command. Isaura sits, keeps her spine rigid, hands folded in her lap to hide the slight tremor in her fingers. Phantom immediately curls around her boots, his massive weight a grounding anchor in the hostile room. Alpha King. Balthazar's voice drips with false diplomacy. We convene this morning hoping the theatrics of last night have passed. He spreads his hands. Reasonable. The pack is in a fragile state. We cannot afford to insult our allies over a momentary lapse in judgment. There was no lapse. Caspian's voice is smooth, low, terrifyingly calm. He leans back in his chair, looks utterly relaxed, which somehow makes him more dangerous. I was told to choose any woman. I chose. You chose a floor scrubber. Elder Marcus slams his fist on the table, thin face flushed with rage. A girl with no pack scent, no lineage, no family. He leans forward. She is a void. Caspian. Aluna must be the heart of the pack. She must bleed for her people. His voice rises. What does this creature know of our traditions? She knows how to survive. Caspian's response is ice, which is more than I can say for the pampered airs you parade before me. Survival is the trait of a rat, Balthazar sneers, steps forward. Not a wolf. He signals to a servant standing in the shadows. The servant approaches carrying a silver tray. On it sits an ornate jewel-encrusted chalice. Isaura's blood runs cold. She knows this ritual, heard whispers of it in the kitchens. Late at night when the older servants spoke of old traditions, barbaric tests, the rite of purity. The prospective Luna drinks ceremonial wine laced with diluted wolfsbane. A true wolf's supernatural healing processes the toxin within minutes. A weak wolf or a human dies. But if the Alpha insists this creature is worthy, Balthazar's eyes gleam with malicious triumph, then she must undergo the traditional rite, as is pack law. Caspian's entire posture shifts. The relaxed demeanor vanishes, replaced by coiled, lethal tension. The rite of purity is a relic. It hasn't been used in a century. It is law. Balthazar's smile is a predator's grin. If she is to be Luna, she must prove her fortitude. The servant sets the chalice on the table, directly in front of Isaura. The liquid inside catches the candlelight. Amber, beautiful, deadly. Caspian's hand shoots out, hovers just above the cup. Ravens, if you have poisoned, I'll take it. Isaura's voice cuts through the rising tension. Caspian's head snaps toward her, his eyes wide with warning. No. His gaze screams, don't. But Isaura is already reaching for the chalice. Her hands are steady now. Perfectly, completely, steady. She wraps her fingers around the cool metal, lifts it, and this is where we began. This is the moment that will define everything that comes next. Isaura brings the rim of the chalice just below her nose, inhales. The scent hits her like a physical blow, sharp, sweet, aggressively metallic. Not the dull, earthy smell of common wolfsbane. Her mother's training surfaces. Years of lessons in the apothecary, identifying hundreds of plants by scent alone. Alpine wolfsbane, late harvest, root oil. She lowers the cup, slowly. The room holds its breath, and Isaura looks directly at Councilor Balthazar Ravens. Alpine wolfsbane, her voice rings clear. Late harvest, after the first frost, which doubles its toxicity. Balthazar's smug expression falters, just slightly, mixed with a base of fermented elderberry to mask the bitterness. She sets the chalice back on the silver tray. Doesn't break eye contact. A ceremonial dose requires 3 crushed petals per gallon of wine. Her voice grows stronger. This chalice contains distilled root oil, not a test of fortitude. Councilor Ravens. A beat. A kill dose. 3 sips would stop a grown alpha's heart in 4 minutes. The silence that follows is absolute, suffocating. Caspian stares at her, his chest rising and falling with slow, heavy breaths. Then, with terrifying calm, the Alpha King stands. He picks up the silver chalice, walks around the table, until he's standing directly in front of Balthazar Ravens. The older man shrinks back, blood draining from his face. "Is she wrong, Ravens?" Caspian's voice is a whisper, but it vibrates with barely suppressed rage. Balthazar opens his mouth. No sound comes out. Caspian turns his hand, pours the poisoned wine directly onto the polished mahogany table in front of the counselor. The liquid hisses violently. The potent acidic toxin immediately begins eating through the expensive varnish, sending up a thin trail of acrid smoke. The wood blackens, bubbles, dissolves. Caspian drops the empty chalice onto the ruined table with a deafening clatter. He looks at the pale, trembling elders. "If anyone else in this room wishes to test my Luna," his eyes are black with fury, "you will do it with steel, and you will do it against me." He turns on his heel, grabs Isaura's arm, and marches her out of the chamber. The heavy doors slam shut behind them, leaving 7 counselors staring at the smoking hole in their table and the empty chalice that nearly became a murder weapon. Caspian doesn't let go of her arm until they're safely behind the locked doors of his private study. The moment the heavy deadbolt clicks into place, the adrenaline holding Isaura upright evaporates. Her knees buckle. She doesn't fall, because Caspian catches her, large hands gripping her shoulders, lowering her gently into a heavy leather armchair near the unlit fireplace. Phantom immediately presses his massive head into her lap, whining softly. Isaura buries her trembling hands in his thick gray fur. Her breathing is ragged, shallow. She just accused the most powerful elder in the territory of attempted murder. In front of the entire council, the reality crashes down like a collapsing roof. "What have I done? What have I done? What have I done? What have I drink?" Caspian's voice cuts through the spiral. He presses a glass into her shaking hands. Whiskey. The amber liquid burns a hot, cleansing trail down her throat, settling the violent shivering in her chest. Caspian pulls up a chair, sits directly across from her, leans forward, elbows on knees. The rage from the council room is gone, replaced by intense burning curiosity. "How?" One word. Isaura looks up, still clutching the glass like a lifeline. "How does a kitchen maid know the exact distillation process of Alpine wolfsbane?" His voice is low, deliberate, not accusing, seeking. Isaura stares at the remaining whiskey in her glass. She knows this moment was coming, the moment she spoke in that council chamber. She shattered the illusion of the invisible, ignorant servant. "I asked you a question, Isaura." Caspian's voice is softer now. He reaches out, long fingers gently but firmly tilting her chin up, forcing her to look at him. His touch is warm, calloused, surprisingly gentle. "You didn't just smell poison. You identified its harvest season. You identified root oil versus petal extract." He pauses. "That is knowledge kept strictly by pack apothecaries." A beat. "And assassins." Isaura closes her eyes. "If I tell you," her voice cracks, "you'll look at me the way Ravens does, like I'm a threat. Ravens tried to kill you because you disrupted his political game." Caspian's thumb brushes lightly along her jawline. Not romantic, grounding. "I'm trying to keep you alive. I cannot do that if I'm fighting in the dark." He leans closer. "Tell me who you are." Isaura's breath hitches. The phantom smell of smoke fills her memory. Burning pine, copper. A nightmare she spent 7 years trying to outrun. "You told the council I had no pack scent." She opens her eyes, meets his piercing gaze. "You're right. I use a lye soap mixed with dried sage. Strip my scent every morning." Her voice steadies, fueled by buried truth finally breathing air. "I've done it since I was 16. Caspian frowns, dark eyebrows drawing together. "Why?" "Because if Councilor Ravens ever caught my true scent," she takes a shaky breath, "he would know he failed to finish the job 7 years ago." The words hang in the air, heavy, final. Caspian goes completely still. "My name is Isaura Whitewood." It feels strange saying it out loud, like trying on clothes that don't fit anymore. "My father was Theron, Alpha of the Silverpine pack." Understanding dawns in Caspian's eyes, followed immediately by shock. Silverpine was wiped out 7 years ago by a mysterious illness. His voice drops to a harsh whisper. There were no survivors. There was no illness. Isaura's voice is steady now, strengthened by a decade of buried grief, finally given voice. They were poisoned. Every single one of them. The water supply in our healing springs. She pauses. Ravens led the quarantine, sealed the borders, said it was to prevent spread. Her hands clench into fists. It was to make sure no one escaped while the poison worked. Caspian sits back, runs a hand through his dark hair. Silverpine. He breathes. That tragedy started the border wars I've been fighting for 5 years. A pause, then his eyes sharpen. My mother died investigating that attack. Isaura's breath catches. What? My mother, Queen Morel. Caspian's voice is tight. She suspected foul play. Sent scouts to examine the springs. Check for toxins. He meets Isaura's gaze. She died 3 weeks later. Sudden illness. The healers called it natural causes. Understanding passes between them. Silent. Terrible. He killed her too. Isaura's whisper is barely audible. Ravens didn't just destroy your family. Caspian's jaw sets into a rigid line. He destroyed mine. They sit in heavy silence. Two people who've lost everything to the same monster. Finally, Isaura speaks. I escaped through the apothecary root cellar, where my mother worked. Her voice is distant, remembering. Found the body of one of the soldiers 2 days later. My father had fought him, died, but managed to sever the man's arm first. Caspian remains perfectly still, letting her speak. The soldier carried a satchel, orders written in cipher, payment ledger. She looks at Caspian, and a signet ring. Raven's family crest. Where is it? The question is immediate, sharp. When I fled south, integrated into your servant quarters, I knew I couldn't keep it on me. Isaura's voice steadies. Mistress Odessa searches us monthly. Random inspections. She takes a breath. I buried it, deep in the old catacombs beneath the eastern wing, in the crypts of the first Alphas. Caspian stands, a dark, dangerous energy radiating from his shoulders. If we have that ring, we can end him. The eastern wing is guarded by Ravens' personal sentries. Isaura stands too. She doesn't look like a trembling servant anymore. She looks like what she is, the daughter of an Alpha. He claimed it as private meditation grounds 3 years ago. Caspian's smile is not kind. It's the smile of a predator who just found blood trail. They're about to learn I don't ask permission to walk in my own house. But they don't go that night, because 3 hours later, everything changes. Isaura is in Caspian's study, trying to process the last 12 hours of her life turning inside out. When the door opens, not a knock, just opens. Isaura spins, heart hammering. But it's not a threat. It's Mistress Odessa. The older woman closes the door softly behind her, leans against it like she's just run a mile. Her steel gray hair has come loose from its severe bun, face lined with exhaustion. Mistress Odessa. Isaura takes a stride forward. The housekeeper holds up a hand. Don't call me that. Her voice cracks. Not when we're alone. She crosses the room, pulls Isaura into a fierce embrace, the kind a mother gives a daughter. Isaura freezes. Then, slowly, her arms come up, wrap around the older woman's shoulders, and something inside her chest cracks open. You knew. It's not a question. I knew. Odessa pulls back, cups Isaura's face in her calloused hands. I knew your mother. Delivered you into this world. Tears streaked down weathered cheeks. I was there the night you were born, watched her place you in your father's arms. Isaura's vision blurs. Why didn't you tell me? Because you were safer dead. Odessa's voice is fierce. A ghost can't be hunted, can't be used as a pawn. She strokes Isaura's hair. I kept you invisible, kept you safe. Until last night. Until last night. Odessa steps back, straightens, reaches into her apron pocket, pulls out a sealed letter. The paper is yellowed with age, the wax seal cracked but intact. Your mother gave this to me the week before Silverpine fell. Odessa's hands shake as she holds it out. Said if anything happened, Get it to you when you are ready. Isaura stares at the letter, her mother's handwriting on the outside. For Isaura, when she remembers who she is, I don't know if I'm ready. The confession slips out, small, frightened. Odessa's expression softens. You faced down the council this morning, child. Called out attempted murder to their faces. She presses the letter into Isaura's hands. You're ready. Then she's gone, leaving Isaura alone with her mother's final words. She doesn't open it immediately. Can't. Instead, Isaura sits in the leather chair, letter clutched to her chest, and remembers her mother, tall, strong, hands that could set a broken bone or brew a fever tonic with equal skill. She smelled like lavender and mint, always, even after hours in the apothecary surrounded by hundreds of herbs. Close your eyes. Isaura, trust your nose. Her mother's voice, clear as yesterday. Scent doesn't lie. Your eyes can be fooled. But scent tells the truth. Isaura takes a shaky breath, opens the letter. The handwriting is rushed. Urgent, my dearest Isaura. If you're reading this, then I am gone. And you have survived, which means you are stronger than you know. I don't have much time, so I must be brief. Silverpine sits on ancient healing springs. Our pack has guarded them for 8 generations. The waters have properties no modern healer can replicate. They can cure, regenerate, even reverse damage thought permanent. Councilor Ravens lost his wife 2 years ago to a wasting disease. He came to me, begged for access to the springs, demanded I share our knowledge. I refused, not because I'm cruel, but because the springs require a price. Knowledge earned through service, through sacrifice, through understanding that healing is not taking, it's giving. He wouldn't pay that price. His pride wouldn't allow it. I fear what comes next. If the worst happens, know this, you carry the gift. The healing touch runs in our bloodline. It will manifest when you're ready, when you stop hiding from pain and learn to transmute it. Use it wisely, use it with compassion. And remember, true strength isn't the absence of breaking. It's choosing what to do with the pieces. I love you, always. Mother Isaura's hands tremble. The letter falls into her lap. You carry the gift, the healing touch. She'd assumed it was gone, buried with everything else from her old life. But it's not. It's been waiting for her to stop running. A soft whine pulls her from her thoughts. Phantom sits at her feet, looking up with those intelligent amber eyes. Isaura reaches down, rests her hand on his massive head, and lets herself feel, tentatively at first, then with growing confidence. Warmth spreads from her palm, gentle, golden, not visible yet, but there, waiting to be called. Phantom leans into her touch, content, and Isaura understands. This is her mother's legacy, not revenge, healing. The next morning, Isaura makes a decision she's going to practice. The healing, not in secret, not hidden, but deliberately. There's a small servants' courtyard behind the kitchens, where the staff take breaks, hang laundry, steal moments of sunshine between endless work. Isaura walks there mid-morning, wearing the gray riding habit, not servant's wool. Several maids freeze when they see her, uncertain how to behave. She's one of them, but also not anymore. May I sit? Isaura gestures to a bench. An elderly woman, at least 70, sits there mending linens. Her hands shake with palsy. The needle slips repeatedly. The woman looks up, startled. My lady, of course. She starts to rise. Isaura gently touches her shoulder. Please don't. She sits beside her, close but not crowding. What's your name? Beatrice, my lady. The old woman's voice trembles. I've worked in the linens for 40 years. Isaura looks at her shaking hands. May I? She holds out her own hands, palm up, an offering, not a command. Beatrice hesitates, then, slowly, places her trembling hands in Isaura's steady ones. Warmth, golden light. It flows from Isaura's palms, gentle as sunlight, strong as roots breaking stone. She can feel the inflammation in Beatrice's joints, the grinding pain, the frustration of a skilled craftswoman whose body betrays her skill. Isaura breathes and directs the healing, not forcing, guiding. The light pulses. Once, twice. Beatrice gasps, her hands steady. The trembling just stops. She stares at her fingers, flexes them, tests the joints. No pain, no shaking. How tears stream down the old woman's weathered face. I haven't been able to hold a needle steady in 3 years. Isaura smiles. It feels strange on her face, like wearing shoes that don't quite fit yet. My mother taught me, before. She doesn't explain before what, doesn't need to. Beatrice understands. Bless you, child. The old woman squeezes Isaura's hands. Bless you. Word spreads, fast. By afternoon, there's a quiet line of servants in the courtyard, ostensibly on breaks, actually waiting. Isaura treats them all. The stable hand with the twisted ankle that never healed right. The young kitchen maid with burns on her forearms. The groundskeeper whose back seized up years ago, one by one. She heals them, not completely. She's not strong enough yet, not practiced enough, but enough. Enough to ease pain, restore movement, give back dignity. Each time, the golden light flows, and something inside Isaura heals too. Because this is what her mother meant. Healing isn't taking, it's giving. And in giving, she finds pieces of herself she thought were lost. She doesn't notice this woman watching from the upper terrace until a voice calls down. Cool, cultured, amused. So, the rumors are true. Isaura looks up. A young woman stands at the balcony railing. 25, maybe. Beautiful in a sharp, expensive way. Emerald silk gown, honey blonde hair swept up in an elaborate style. Lady Callista of the Iron Veil pack. The woman Caspian was supposed to choose. Isaura's stomach drops. Here it comes. The confrontation. The rival. The jealous noble who'll make her life hell. But Callista doesn't look angry. She looks curious. May I join you? It's phrased as a question, not a demand. Isaura nods, unsure what else to do. 5 minutes later, Lady Callista sits on the servant's bench, silk gown pulling on the worn wooden slats, looking completely out of place, and not caring at all. You're not what I expected. Callista's voice is direct. No games. I could say the same. Isaura's response comes out sharper than intended, but Callista laughs, genuine, surprised. Fair. She tilts her head. I assume you thought I'd come here to scratch your eyes out, dream about stolen birthrights. The thought crossed my mind. Understandable. Callista smooths her silk skirt. But here's the thing, I didn't want to marry Caspian. Isaura blinks. What? My father sold me into this arrangement. Callista's voice is matter of fact, but there's steel underneath. Like cattle, political alliance, mining rights, the usual. She meets Isaura's eyes. I've never even met Caspian. Not really, just formal introductions at council gatherings. A pause. And from what I've seen, he's a good man, but I don't love him, and he doesn't love me. Isaura doesn't know what to say. This is not how she expected this conversation to go. So when Phantom chose you, Callista continues, I was relieved. Relieved? Relieved, Callista leans back, because it meant I wasn't going to spend my life as a political pawn, pushed around by old men with ledgers and land agreements. She pulls something from her sleeve, a folded piece of parchment. But here's why I'm actually here. She hands it to Isaura. Before I left Iron Veil, I intercepted a letter from my father's private study. Her voice drops. Addressed to Councilor Ravens. Isaura's hands shake as she unfolds the parchment. The handwriting is cramped, efficient. Ravens. The Whitewood situation requires permanent resolution. The springs cannot fall into Ashford hands. Our arrangement stands. You acquire the territory. We secure mining rights beneath. Eliminate all witnesses. Frame it as plague. No one questions quarantine. The girl is liability. Ensure she doesn't survive. Lord Ironvale Isaura's vision blurs. Your father. The words stick in her throat. Helped plan the massacre. My father is a monster. Callista's voice is flat. I've known for years, but I couldn't prove anything. Couldn't act. She pauses. Until now. She looks at Isaura. We're both pawns in their game. Isaura. But pawns can become queens. A beat. If they're willing to move. Isaura stares at this unexpected ally. This woman who should hate her, but instead offers partnership. Why are you helping me? Because when they control the king through a puppet Luna, they control everything. Callista's eyes harden, including me, my sisters, every woman in every pack who's ever been sold for political convenience. She stands, smooths her gown. You want to take down Ravens. I want to burn this entire corrupt system to ash. A small smile. Our goals align. Isaura stands too. What do you need from me? Keep doing what you're doing. Callista gestures to the courtyard, to the servants who are watching this exchange with wide eyes. Build your own power base. The people who've been invisible. She starts to leave. Pauses. Oh, and one more thing. What? The envoy, Garrison, the man my father sent to negotiate. Callista's smile is sharp. He's not loyal to Ironvale. He's loyal to whoever pays best. And he hates my father. She winks. Might be worth a conversation. Then she's gone, leaving Isaura standing in the servants' courtyard, holding evidence of conspiracy and the strangest alliance she never saw coming. That night, Caspian finds her in his study. She's been living in his chambers for 3 days now, though he's insisted on taking the couch. Giving her the bed, it's strange. This careful dance of proximity and distance. You had visitors today. He doesn't phrase it as a question. Commander Lysander tells him everything. Servants, wanting healing. Isaura looks up from the letter she's been reading, her mother's letter, for the 100th time. And Lady Callista, Caspian's eyebrow raises. That must have been interesting. She gave me this. Isaura hands him the intercepted letter. Watches as he reads. His jaw clenches tighter with each line. Ironvale was in on it. Not a question, a realization. Ravens didn't act alone. No, Isaura stands, walks to the window. The moon is full tonight, casting silver light across the keep's gardens. He had help, money, soldiers, political cover. She turns to face Caspian. And if Ironvale was involved, how many others were too? The question hangs heavy. Caspian sets the letter down, crosses to her, stands close enough that she can feel the warmth radiating from him. We get the evidence from the catacombs. His voice is quiet, determined. We expose all of them. When tomorrow night, he pauses. But I need to tell you something first. His gaze searches her face. Phantom's not just a warhound I found by chance. Isaura's breath catches. What do you mean? Caspian is quiet for a long moment. Then, 7 years ago, I led the cleanup team to Silverpine after the quarantine was lifted. His voice is heavy. We were supposed to recover bodies, assess damage. He looks away. There was a puppy in the ruins of the apothecary, guarding something. Isaura's heart stops. What was he guarding? Caspian walks to a cabinet, opens it, pulls out something wrapped in oilcloth, unfolds it carefully. Inside is a child's blanket, embroidered with clumsy stitches, flowers, stars, a name. Lily Isaura's knees give out. Caspian catches her, lowers her into a chair. Your sister, he asks gently. She can't speak, can only know, because she remembers. Her sister, 3 years old, bright eyes, sticky hands. Sora, look, I made flowers, holding up the blanket she'd been helping their mother embroider. The stitches were terrible, uneven, perfect. I wrapped her in that. Isaura's voice breaks. The night it happened, she was so small, so scared. Tears streamed down her face. I wrapped her in her favorite blanket, kissed her forehead, a sob, and left her in the root cellar while I ran for help. She looks at Caspian through blurred vision. I never made it back. The soldiers found the cellar before I could. They killed everyone hiding there. Caspian kneels in front of her. Phantom found this blanket near a small body, wouldn't leave it. His voice is rough. I took both, buried your sister properly, kept the blanket. He places it gently in her lap. Because Phantom wouldn't let me throw it away, wouldn't let anyone touch it but me. A pause. Until you. Understanding crashes over Isaura. He's been looking for me for 7 years. Caspian's hand covers hers. He remembered your scent on this blanket. Waited. His thumb brushes her knuckles. That's why he chose you. Not politics, not strategy. A beat. Recognition. Isaura buries her face in the blanket. It still smells faintly of lavender. Her mother's soap. And she breaks. Completely. All the grief she's swallowed like poison for 7 years pours out. Caspian doesn't try to stop her. Doesn't tell her it's okay. Because it's not okay. It will never be okay. Instead, he sits on the floor beside her chair, one hand resting on her knee, silent, present, and somehow that's exactly what she needs. She cries until there's nothing left, until she's hollow, empty, but not broken, because broken things stay in pieces. And Isaura is starting to understand. She's not broken, she's healing. Thank you, her voice is hoarse, for keeping her blanket, for burying her properly. Caspian looks up. I'm sorry I couldn't save them. You did save one. Isaura manages a watery smile, reaches out, touches Phantom's head where he's curled at their feet. And he saved me right back. Caspian, yes. When we get the evidence, when we expose Ravens, she pauses. What happens to him? Council law demands execution for treason. His answer is immediate. Isaura's stomach turns. I don't want him dead. The confession surprises even her. Caspian frowns. He killed your family, my mother, hundreds of people. I know. Isaura steps back, needing space to think. But killing him won't bring them back, won't heal anything. She wraps her arms around herself. My mother's letter said true strength is choosing what to do with the broken pieces. She meets his eyes. I think, maybe, mercy is stronger than revenge. Caspian is quiet for a long moment. You want him alive. I want him to face what he's done, every day, for the rest of his life. Isaura's voice strengthens. I want him to serve the people he tried to destroy. Use his knowledge to prevent others from making his mistakes. She pauses. Death is too easy, too final. He doesn't get to escape into darkness. Understanding dawns in Caspian's expression. You want restorative justice. I want healing, Isaura corrects gently, for everyone, including me. Caspian studies her, like he's seeing her for the first time. You're remarkable. The words are soft. Isaura's cheeks flush. I'm just trying to be better than the pain. That's what makes you remarkable. He reaches out, tucks a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture is tender, intimate. Isaura's breath catches. We should plan for tomorrow. She steps back before she does something stupid, like kiss the Alpha King, which would complicate everything. Caspian's hand drops, but there's a small smile playing at his lips, like he knows exactly what she's thinking. Tomorrow night, we retrieve the evidence. His voice shifts back to practical. Commander Lysander will create a distraction, draw Ravens' guards away from the eastern wing. What kind of distraction? A fire. Caspian's smile is sharp, small, controlled. In the Western Armory, nothing dangerous, but loud. And while they're dealing with that, we slip into the catacombs. Isaura nods. Phantom comes with us. Obviously, they plan for another hour, routes, timing, contingencies. When Isaura finally crawls into the massive bed, exhausted but oddly settled, she clutches her sister's blanket, and for the first time in 7 years, she doesn't dream of fire. She dreams of golden light and healing hands and a future that might, just might, include hope. The next evening, everything goes wrong. They're halfway to the eastern wing, moving through servant corridors, when Phantom stops, growls, low, dangerous. What is it? Caspian's hand goes to the knife at his belt. Phantom's ears flatten. He turns, facing the way they came, and Isaura hears it. Footsteps, multiple, heavy boots. They know it. Her whisper is panicked. How? But there's no time to figure it out, because 6 guards round the corner. Ravens' personal sentries, led by a man Isaura recognizes, the captain. Marcus. He's young, maybe 28, with conflicted eyes and a sword he clearly doesn't want to draw. "Stand down, Your Majesty." Marcus's voice is strained. "Councilor Ravens requests your presence." Immediately. Ravens requests nothing. Caspian's voice is ice. He commands nothing. "Stand aside." "I can't do that, sir." Marcus looks genuinely pained. He has hostages. The world tilts. "What?" Isaura's voice comes out strangled. "Mistress Odessa, 3 kitchen staff, and Commander Lysander." Marcus swallows hard. He says if you don't return to the council chamber, he'll execute one every hour. Fury floods Isaura's veins, but underneath, terror, not for herself, for the people who've protected her. It is a trap. Caspian's jaw is rigid. Obviously. Marcus's shoulders slump. "I have family too." He's threatened. "I'm sorry." And Isaura feels it, her healing sense. Reaching out involuntarily, she can feel Marcus's conflict, his fear, his desperation. He doesn't want this. He's being forced, just like everyone else in Ravens' web. "You don't have to do this." Her voice cuts through the tension. Marcus looks at her. "He'll kill them. He'll kill them anyway." Isaura steps forward. Caspian tries to grab her arm, but she shakes him off. "Ravens doesn't leave witnesses. You know that." She looks directly at Marcus. "Whatever he promised you, he's lying." The captain's grip on his sword wavers. "How do I know you're not lying?" "Because." Isaura takes a breath. "I can feel it. Your fear, your desperation, the way you're screaming inside because you don't want to hurt anyone." She extends her hand, palm up. "Let me show you." Marcus stares at her hand like it might be a snake. Then, against all logic, he reaches out. The moment their palms touch, golden light flares, and Marcus gasps, because he can feel it too. Her truth, her grief, her desperate need to stop this cycle of violence. And underneath, his own truth, the sick horror of following orders he knows are wrong, the memory of his own sister, lost to Ravens' political machinations years ago, the bone-deep exhaustion of being a pawn. Marcus yanks his hand back, breathing hard. "You're not lying. It's not a question." "No." "And Ravens will kill the hostages regardless." "Yes." Marcus looks at his men, young, scared, following orders because the alternative is unthinkable. He makes a decision. "Go." His voice cracks. "I'll say you overpowered us, took my sword. We couldn't stop you." Relief floods Isaura. "Thank you." "Don't thank me." Marcus steps aside. "Just stop him, please." Caspian doesn't waste time, grabs Isaura's hand. They run, Phantom at their heels, into the eastern wing, down stone steps that smell like age and dust, into darkness, where the truth has been buried for 7 years, waiting. The catacombs smell like forgotten time, dust, damp stone, the faint copper scent of ancient death. Caspian holds the iron lantern high. The flame casts monstrous shadows against curved stone walls. Isaura walks directly behind him, her footsteps light, practiced from 7 years of moving unseen. Phantom brings up the rear, his massive paws completely silent on uneven cobblestones. Amber eyes scanning the darkness with lethal precision. "How far?" Caspian's voice is barely a whisper. "Third corridor on the left." Isaura points toward an arched doorway draped in thick silvery cobwebs. The tomb of Alpha Valerius. They move swiftly. The temperature drops as they enter the ancient burial chamber. The heavy stone sarcophagus dominates the center, covered in layers of dust thick enough to write in. Isaura immediately drops to her knees behind the monument, running her fingers along the base of the damp stone wall, counting 3 over, 2 down. She presses her palms against the seemingly solid block of granite, pushes, with a harsh grinding scrape. The stone slides backward. From the dark cavity, she pulls out a spool iron lockbox, rusted, heavy, held closed by a corroded latch. Caspian holds the lantern closer as Isaura flips it open. The hinges shriek in protest. Inside, wrapped in scorched, blood-stained cloth, a thick leather ledger, and resting on top, a heavy gold ring. The unmistakable crest of a coiled serpent stamped into its face, the ancient sigil of the Ravens' bloodline. He's a dead man. Caspian breathes. His voice is soft, but vibrating with controlled fury. He reaches out, large fingers carefully picking up the undeniable proof of high treason. The ring catches the lantern light. Gold, blood, evidence. Isaura stares at it. This small piece of metal, this tiny thing that cost her everything. We have him. Caspian's voice pulls her from the dark spiral. This, the ledger, the letters from Ironvale. He looks at her. It's enough. Isaura nods, but something feels wrong. A prickling at the base of her spine. The kind of warning her mother taught her to trust. Your body knows danger before your mind does. Listen to it. We need to go. Her voice is urgent. Now. Caspian doesn't question, just moves. They turn toward the exit and freeze, because the doorway is no longer empty. Councilor Ravens stands there, flanked by 6 armed guards. His silver hair gleams in the lantern light, cold eyes fixed on the lockbox in Isaura's hands. I was wondering when you'd come for that. His voice is conversational, like they're discussing weather, not evidence of mass murder. Phantom erupts into a deafening roar, lunging forward. Hold him, Ravens barks. 2 guards move. Catch Phantom mid-leap with a weighted net. The massive Hound crashes to the ground, thrashing, snarling. No! Isaura's scream tears from her throat. Caspian steps in front of her, one hand reaching for his knife. But Ravens is faster, signals. 4 crossbows appear, aimed directly at Caspian's chest. I wouldn't. Ravens' voice is mild. Kingslayer is such an ugly title, but necessary, if you force my hand. Caspian's jaw clenches, but he doesn't draw the blade, because 4 bolts at this range. Even an alpha doesn't survive that. Smart boy, Ravens smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. Now, you're both going to come with me. Quietly. He gestures to the guards. Bring the beast, carefully. I'd hate for anyone to get hurt. The last part is directed at Isaura, a threat barely veiled. Cooperate or Phantom dies. She clutches the lockbox tighter. You can't win this. The evidence, the evidence. Ravens laughs. It's a dry sound, like wind through dead leaves. Will be dismissed as forgeries, planted by a desperate servant trying to avoid execution for seducing the king. He steps closer. Did you really think it would be that simple, girl? I've been playing this game since before you were born. His eyes narrow. I always have contingencies. They're marched through the keep at Sword Point, not to dungeons, to the Grand Hall, where hundreds of pack members have been assembled. Word spreads fast in a castle. By the time Isaura and Caspian are forced through the heavy oak doors, the entire hall is packed. Nobles, servants, guards, common folk from the surrounding territories, all crammed into the vaulted space, murmuring, speculating. What's happening? Why the emergency gathering is at war at the front? On a raised platform normally reserved for ceremonies, stand 5 people, bound, gagged. Mistress Odessa, her steel gray hair disheveled, face bruised. 3 young kitchen staff, terrified, crying. And Commander Lysander, the king's most trusted general, bloodied but defiant. Isaura's stomach drops. No. The word is barely audible, but Odessa hears it. Their eyes meet across the crowded hall, and the older woman shakes her head slightly. Don't give in. Don't surrender. Ravens walks to the center of the platform, raises his hands. The crowd falls silent. My friends, his voice carries. Practiced, authoritative. I come before you tonight with a heavy heart and grave news. He pauses for effect. Our beloved Alpha King has been compromised. Gasps ripple through the assembly. A servant, a woman with no pack, no lineage, no loyalty. Raven's voice hardens. Has used dark arts to bewitch him, to turn him against his own council. He gestures to the hostages. These loyal servants discovered her plot and were silenced for their trouble. Lies, all lies, but delivered with such conviction, such wounded righteousness, that half the crowd is already nodding along. I have proof. Ravens produces a vial, small, glass, filled with dark liquid. A love potion found in her chambers, brewed from wolfsbane and nightshade. He holds it up for the crowd to see. The same potion used by the Silverpine traders 7 years ago, before their treachery was discovered and they were rightfully punished. Isaura's vision blurs with rage. Rightfully punished. He's rewriting history, making her family the villains. Liar. Her voice cuts through the hall. Every head turns. Silverpine didn't commit treason. You murdered them. She struggles against the guards holding her arms. For their land, their healing springs, because your pride wouldn't let you ask for help. The crowd erupts, shouting, arguing, some believing her, some believing Ravens. Chaos. Ravens smiles, like this is exactly what he wanted. You see, he addresses the crowd. She's unstable, delusional, dangerous. He signals. 2 more guards drag someone onto the platform. A man, tall, scarred, weathered, wearing Iron Veil colors. Garrison, the envoy. No, no, no. Isaura's mind races. If Garrison has been bought. If he's working with Ravens. Then Callista's information was wrong, or worse, a trap. But Garrison doesn't look triumphant. He looks angry. Garrison of Ironvale. Raven's voice is smooth. You've served Lord Ironvale faithfully for 20 years. Correct? Correct, Garrison's voice is flat. And you were present during the negotiations regarding Silverpine territory. 7 years ago. I was. Tell the Assembly, what was Silverpine's crime? This is it. The moment Raven seals his version of history, uses Iron Veil's authority to legitimize the massacre. Garrison is silent for a long moment. Then, he speaks. Silverpine's crime, his voice grows louder, was refusing to be extorted. The hall goes deathly quiet. Raven's face drains of color. Garrison, I will tell the truth. Garrison's voice is steel. For the first time in 7 years. He turns to face the crowd. Lord Ironvale and Councilor Ravens formed an alliance. To acquire Silverpine's healing springs through force. His words are clipped, precise. When Alpha Theron Whitewood refused to sell, they poisoned the water supply. Gasps, shouts, denial. Garrison continues over the noise. I have the payment ledgers, the orders, the proof. He pulls documents from his coat. Lord Ironvale kept records because he's arrogant and thought no one would dare betray him. He looks directly at Ravens. But I'm not loyal to Ironvale. A beat. I'm loyal to my daughter who died in that massacre because she married into Silverpine against her father's wishes. His voice cracks. And I've spent 7 years gathering evidence, waiting for the right moment. He throws the documents at Raven's feet. This is that moment. The hall explodes into chaos, nobles shouting, common folk surging forward, guards struggling to maintain order. And Ravens. Ravens looks at the documents scattered at his feet, at the crowd turning against him. At Isaura, standing tall now, no longer restrained because the guards are too shocked to hold her. His carefully constructed empire, crumbling in minutes. You don't understand. His voice cuts through the noise. Not commanding now, desperate. You don't. None of you understand. He looks at Isaura, and for the first time, she sees him, not as a monster, but as a man, broken, grieving, drowning in choices he can't take back. My wife. Raven's voice cracks. Morel, she was everything. His hands shake. Beautiful, kind, strong. He looks at the crowd. She got sick, a wasting disease. Watched her fade for 2 years. Tears streamed down his weathered face. I'm a healer. Was a healer, and I couldn't save her. The hall quiets, because grief, real grief, silences even anger. I went to Silverpine, begged Alpha Theron for access to the springs. Ravens' voice is hollow now. I'd heard stories, miraculous cures, impossible healings. He closes his eyes. He said yes, but there was a price. Service, humility, learning the old ways. A bitter laugh. I was Councilor Ravens. I'd never served anyone in my life. Understanding dawns on Isaura. Cold, terrible. You refused. Her voice is quiet, but it carries. Ravens nods. I refused. Demanded they just give me the knowledge, as payment for political favors. He opens his eyes. They refused. A pause. Morel died 3 weeks later, in my arms. He looks at his shaking hands, and I became obsessed. If I couldn't save her, I could prevent others from suffering. His voice hardens by controlling the springs, the knowledge, making sure no one else was denied because of pride. Isaura steps forward. The crowd parts for her. So you killed hundreds? Not a question, an observation. I told myself it was necessary. Raven's voice is barely audible. That Silverpine was hoarding knowledge, letting people die. He meets her eyes. But the truth is, I was angry at them, at myself, at death for taking her. He gestures to the crowd. In anger, unchecked, becomes poison. Silence, heavy, absolute. Then Isaura speaks. Your wife. Her voice is gentle. What was her name? Ravens blinks, surprised by the question. Morel. Tell me about her. Isaura takes another step closer. What did she love? Why? His voice is suspicious. Because you turned her memory into a weapon. Isaura's eyes are steady. I want to know who she really was, before grief twisted her into justification for murder. Ravens is silent for a long moment. Then, she loved gardens, roses especially. His voice softens, laughed at terrible jokes, cried at beauty. A pause. She was kind, to everyone, servants, nobles, animals. He looks at Isaura. She would have hated what I became. Yes, Isaura's agreement is immediate. She would have. She's close enough now to touch him. Doesn't, but close enough. You dishonored her memory by using her death as excuse for atrocity. Ravens flinches, like she struck him. I know. And you dishonored my family, my mother. Who would have helped your wife if you'd been willing to learn? I know. His voice breaks. So what now? Isaura looks at Caspian, who's standing at the edge of the platform, watching her with an expression she can't quite read. Pride, maybe, and something deeper. She looks at the crowd, hundreds of faces, waiting to see what she'll choose. Revenge, or something harder. She takes a breath. Council law demands execution for treason. Her voice carries across the silent hall. Ravens nods, accepts it, closes his eyes, waiting for the sentence. But I am not council. Isaura's voice strengthens. I am the daughter of healers, and my mother taught me that true strength is choosing what to do with broken pieces. She looks directly at Ravens. You will live. His eyes snap open, shocked. But, Isaura raises her voice. You will serve, every day, for the rest of your life. She begins to pace, addressing the crowd now. You will use your knowledge of poisons, of healing, to teach. Her words are clipped, precise. You will train the next generation of healers. Ensure no one misuses this knowledge again. She stops, turns back to Ravens. You will work to restore Silverpine territory. Rebuild the springs, make them accessible to all packs, freely. A beat. And you will face, every single day, the families you destroyed. You will look them in the eyes, hear their stories, carry their grief. Her voice drops. Death is too easy, too quick. You don't get to escape into darkness. She steps closer. You will live and serve and remember until your last breath. That mercy is not weakness. Tears stream down Raven's face. I don't deserve mercy. No, Isaura's voice is firm. You don't. She holds his gaze. That's what makes it mercy. The hall erupts, some cheering, some protesting, some simply crying, because this moment, is not what anyone expected. Caspian steps forward, raises his hand. The crowd quiets. Isaura Whitewood has spoken. His voice rings with authority, and I, as Alpha King, support her judgment. He looks at Ravens. You will be stripped of your council seat, your lands, your titles. His voice is iron, but you will live under guard, under supervision, in service. He signals to Commander Lysander, who's been freed from his bonds. Commander, you will oversee his work, ensure he fulfills his sentence. Lysander nods, sharp, efficient. Caspian turns to the crowd. This is a new era for all of us. His gaze finds Isaura's. An era where we choose healing over vengeance, service over power, a pause and mercy over easy answers. The crowd doesn't know how to respond. This is unprecedented, foreign, but slowly, one by one, they begin to kneel, not in submission, in respect, for the servant girl who chose compassion when she had every right to choose blood. Isaura looks at the sea of bowed heads and realizes she's not invisible anymore. 1 week later, the ceremony takes place in the castle gardens, under open sky, with roses blooming, the kind Morel Ravens loved. Isaura wears a simple dress, silver gray wool, not silk, embroidered with healing herbs along the hem and cuffs. She stitched them herself, over 7 nights, while Phantom slept at her feet and Caspian worked at his desk nearby. The embroidery is clumsy in places, uneven stitches, perfect. Her dark hair is loose, crowned with a simple circlet of woven silver. No jewels, she looks like herself. Finally, the assembly is small. Commander Lysander, Mistress Odessa, Lady Callista, Garrison, Marcus and his guards who let them escape. The servants she's been healing in the courtyard, common folk, pack members, people who've been invisible their whole lives. These are her witnesses. Caspian stands before her, wearing formal regalia, but he's rolled up his sleeves, making himself less imposing, more human. Isaura Whitewood, his voice is warm. You came to this keep 7 years ago as a ghost, invisible, terrified, determined to survive. He picks up the Luna crown, simple silver, no massive gemstones, just clean lines and elegant craftsmanship. You survived. More than that, you healed. He holds her gaze, yourself, and everyone you touched. A pause. I'm not crowning you because I need a political alliance, or because tradition demands it. He steps closer. I'm crowning you because you're the strongest person I've ever met. And this pack, this kingdom, needs your strength. He places the crown gently on her head. Not as property, not as decoration. His voice drops, as equal. The crown settles, light as air, heavy as responsibility. Isaura looks at the assembled crowd, takes a breath. I don't know how to be a Luna. Her voice is honest, vulnerable. I spent 7 years scrubbing floors, hiding, trying to disappear. She pauses. But I know how to heal. I know how to listen. I know how to see people that society overlooks. She straightens. So I won't rule. I'll serve. She looks directly at the servants in the crowd, starting with those who've been invisible, the way I was. Mistress Odessa wipes tears from her weathered cheeks. I'm opening a healing clinic, here, in the castle. Isaura's voice grows stronger. Free, for everyone. Servants first, common folk. Anyone who's been told they don't matter. Murmurs of approval ripple through the crowd. And I'm reforming the council. She glances at Caspian, who nods. This was planned. Half the seats will go to common voices. Elected, not inherited. This causes louder murmurs, shock, excitement, fear from those who benefit from the old system. Because power concentrated in the hands of a few, Isaura's voice is firm, leads to tragedies like Silverpine. She looks toward where Ravens sits, under guard, but present. She insisted he attend to see what his actions birthed, not just destruction, but transformation. We're breaking cycles today. Her voice carries across the garden, of violence, of silence, of invisible suffering. She places her hand over her heart. I was invisible because I chose safety over being seen. A pause. But you, all of you, are seen now. Your voices matter, your pain matters, your healing matters. Tears stream down faces in the crowd because these words, this recognition, it's what they've needed their whole lives. So help me. Isaura's voice cracks. Help me build something better. Something where no one has to choose between being seen and being safe. Silence. Then applause. Not polite formal clapping, but genuine, thunderous approval. The servants are loudest because one of their own just became queen and remembered where she came from. Caspian steps forward, takes her hand, not possessive, supportive. To Luna Isaura, his voice rings out, and to healing. To healing. The crowd echoes, and for the first time in 7 years, Isaura smiles, wide, genuine, unguarded, because she's home. Finally, not in a place, but in herself. The Silverpine healing springs run clear. After years of painstaking work, filtering, cleansing, restoring, the water flows pure again. And with it, small miracles. A child's clubfoot straightens. An elder's failing eyesight sharpens. Chronic pain eased. The springs are open to all, free, as they were always meant to be. Isaura oversees them with her team of apprentices and one unlikely assistant, Balthazar Ravens, who spent his final years teaching, documenting, making sure the knowledge is preserved, not hoarded. He died peacefully 3 years into his sentence. In the gardens he tended, surrounded by medicinal herbs and the apprentices who learned to see him as a cautionary tale. Not a monster, a man who made terrible choices and spent his remaining time trying to repair what he broke. His last words were to Isaura, "Thank you for giving me the chance to serve." She held his hand as he passed and cried, not for him, but for what could have been. She planted a white rose for him, for redemption among the Silverpine Memorial, because he earned a place there. Through service, the healing clinic thrives. What started as a single room has expanded into an entire floor. 50 apprentice healers from every pack, every class, every background, learning not just herbs and techniques, but compassion. How to see patients as people, not problems. Lady Callista visits often, reforming Ironvale from within, her father under house arrest, facing similar restorative justice. Marcus leads Caspian's personal guard, training new recruits in ethical service, teaching them to question orders, think critically, choose courage over compliance. Phantom is grayer now, moving slower, but still devoted, still standing guard. Children climb on him in the courtyard. He tolerates it with surprising patience, like he's guarding a new generation. Tonight, Isaura stands in the memorial garden, under the roses where she was crowned. The moon is full, casting silver light across carefully tended beds. Each person lost from Silverpine has a rose bush. She tends them herself. Couldn't sleep, Caspian's voice comes from behind. She doesn't startle, knew he was there, could sense him. Thinking about tomorrow. She doesn't turn around, just keeps looking at the roses. The tree planting. Lily would have been 10. Caspian steps beside her. Close enough their shoulders touch. He takes her hand. Their daughter, 3 years old, sleeps peacefully inside, watched over by Mistress Odessa. She has Isaura's gray eyes, his dark hair, Phantom's stubborn loyalty. "Do you ever regret it?" Isaura asked quietly. "Choosing me, that night." Caspian is silent for a long moment. Then, every day, her heart skips, until, "I regret that I didn't choose you sooner." His voice is soft. "Before you spent 7 years invisible. Before you suffered alone." He turns to face her fully. "But regret the choice itself." He shakes his head. "Never." Isaura's breath catches. Phantom knew. He reaches up, tucks a strand of hair behind her ear. He recognized strength when everyone else saw weakness. His hand lingers near her cheek. "I'm just glad I listened." She leans into his touch. "We're going to be okay." She whispers it, half prayer, half certainty. "We are." Caspian pulls her closer. "Because you taught us how to heal." They stand there, under the roses, under the moon, two broken people who chose to mend together, and in the morning, they'll plant a tree for Lily, a living memorial. That healing is possible, that cycles can be broken, that the invisible can become seen, and that sometimes. The Hound chooses wisely, not because of bloodlines or politics, but because he recognizes a survivor, a healer, a woman who would transform a kingdom, not through force, but through the quiet revolutionary act of choosing compassion when the world expects revenge. She proved that true strength isn't the absence of breaking, it's choosing what to do with the pieces. And sometimes, the most powerful act of resistance against a world that wants you invisible is simply, gently, persistently, choosing to be seen, to heal, and to love. In spite of everything that tried to teach you otherwise,